one essential element of G-SAP is pre-commit. Uh, at this moment, I don't think RBI needs to pre-commit a large amount of government bond buying. If the need be, they can always do the standard way. And they've already shown in September that they're matching the G-SAP with an equivalent amount of operation twist to ensure that there's no net liquidity addition to the system. But apart from the GSEC side, there is liquidity going to be added from the FX side as well.
Yeah.
Although we think that the second half BOP surplus might be lower than the first half. But till that additional liquidity, RBI needs to start thinking about using it to the forward, to reduce it through the forward market the way they used to do it last year. When the forward points went up, they kind of stopped that route. But now with forward points being more benign, there's a chance that RBI can manage that as well. But the key point for me is that RBI has demonstrated over the last couple of months that even with simple VRR, that too only up to 14-day VRR, it is possible to push the short-end rate all the way up to the repo rate. We don't actually need to suck out liquidity from the system through a cash management bill or a market stabilization scheme bond or an incremental CRR. All those things that we were thinking would be required to push the overnight rate all the way up to the repo rate. It appears to be that it can be done even through the 7-day, 14-day VRR, not even a longer duration VR of 28 days or 56 days or something like that. So that probably would give RBI some comfort in managing the excess liquidity amount. The only constraint for them would be that the core liquidity is close to 12 trillion rupees now. And the RBI's bond holding, including T-bills, is about 15.8 trillion rupees. So in a sense, the collateral buffer that they have to run these reverse repo operations in the case where the entire government cash surplus gets spent and the reverse repo amount turns out to be exactly 12 trillion rupees, then that buffer that they have is a slim one, relatively, which could lead to a situation where RBI considers reducing the sort of spool liquidity as well. But the other objective of overnight effective rates being close to repo rate, that objective seems to be achieved even without any significant liquidity tightening.
What about the objective of just mispricing of risk in the market? I mean, I know we'll get to CPI in a minute, but there's no easy way to judge whether there's asset price inflation emerging out of the way liquidity conditions are right now. Or even if not that, just mispricing of risk at some parts of the curve is quite possible, or something that the RBI may fear at some stage?
So there are two parts to it. One part is that the deduced short-end rates because of surplus liquidity, whether it is creating mispricing of risk or not. And the other part is that the surplus liquidity per se, whether it is creating some asset inflation. The first one is still relatively easy to identify.
Yeah.
That you can see where different rated borrowers are borrowing, and you can take a call on whether those real rates for those borrowers are in sync with where they should be or not. But the other point about whether the 10, 11, 12 trillion surplus liquidity itself is causing any asset price inflation or not is a much harder one to predict, because this is a debate that's not just here, it's across the world that central bankers are grappling with. So again, I'll go back to my answer to your last question, that there might not be any urgency on RBI's part to reduce the quantum of liquidity, because this is still an unsettled debate. RBI would definitely want the first part of it, which is to get the short-end rates up to a point where mispricing of risk does not happen from the interest rate side, whereby take the variable reverse repo cutoffs closer to repo at some point of time. But the other issue, they might play along for a while more and then keep this excess liquidity. And it's not easy to get it out also. So
Yeah.
that would be my way of looking at it.